Hi everyone, I just want to give you a quick review and a little bit of information about PARCC. It's coming up very soon in the high school. April 4th is when we're starting. So on Monday, April 4th, we'll have the English Language Arts or ELA Unit 1. On Tuesday, April 5th, ELA Units 2 and 3. On Wednesday, April 6th, Math Units 1 and 2. And on Thursday, April 7th, Math Unit 3. On each of those days, breakfast will be served in the cafeteria starting at 7 o'clock. And we want you to make sure to take advantage of that breakfast, make sure you have a full stomach and you're ready to focus on PARCC. We know you're going to do great, we know you're ready, but we do want to give you as much support as possible, and breakfast is one of the ways to do that. So let's go on to how you can get ready for PARCC. So the first thing I want to show you is that you can go to released items for PARCC, and the way you do that, and the easiest way to get to this website, because it is a long website, is you go to Google and you just Google PARCC released items. And when you go to that, the first search item you'll get is the one that you want. You click on PARCC Released Items, and if you scroll down just a little bit, you'll see this grade level bar. Go into the grade level bar, select any grade level. I'll just select 10th grade, and click on Search, and you can see that all the items that have been released from last year's PARCC, all the items that you took last year, are here, and so that you can look at them and go over them again to prepare for this year. So I'm going to click on the literary analysis task in English Language Arts from last year for grade 10. You can click on anything you like, English Language Arts, math, whatever you like. So if we click on that, you'll see first a little description of the questions and the answer key, what types of items they were. And then as you scroll down, you'll see it's very small because it's a long text, so you just want to blow it up a little bit on your screen. And you can see the passage, and you can see the questions you were asked. So if you're a current 11th grader, you might remember seeing some of these questions. This is an excerpt from Frankenstein, and you also had an excerpt from The Tempest by Shakespeare in this text set. So if you'll remember the Part A, Part B questions, on Part A, Part B questions, the rule is you have to get Part A correct in order to get any points for this type of question. So in your Part A answer is very important because you can get Part A correct and Part B correct. Part B supports your Part A answer. You can get both correct and get 2 points. You can get Part A correct and get 1 point, Part B wrong. So Part A right, Part B wrong, 1 point. If you get Part A wrong, you get no points, even if you get Part B correct, because it doesn't make sense that you should get Part B correct if you didn't know the answer to Part A. So Part A is very important in all these questions. So really think about the answer. When you're looking at a vocabulary question, they're giving you the paragraph it's in, they're giving you the word. You just need to go back to that paragraph, find the word, read around it, and make sure you understand that answer. And then how did you know that? Which phrase supported it? So that's Part A, Part B. You're going to see those questions throughout for each passage that you're given. Make sure you read the whole passage in order to figure out the answer. And then there are going to be some that you'll probably remember where there'll be highlighted phrases and you have to highlight them. So if you're on the computer, this is just a document right now, so I can't do it, but we'll look at the practice and show you how to do that again. But you just want to click on your answer instead of choosing a multiple choice answer. These are just things we want you to remember from PARCC last year, since it's been a year since you took it. So you want to scroll through, and now here's your second text, which was Shakespeare's The Tempest, and questions again about that text, Part A, Part B. Again, you have to get Part A right in order to get any answers correct. Now you get to your essay prompt. When you get to the essay prompt, a couple of really important things to remember. First is you get this tiny text box, but you are writing a complete essay. You are not only filling up this tiny text box. That is not a complete essay, and it will never be a complete essay. So you actually have virtually 4 pages of space to write your essay. So write and write and write and write and write. It is not going to cut you off until you are finished with your essay. When you're writing, you will see a scroll bar right here, and that scroll bar will grow as you type, and you have plenty of room. So don't stop typing because you think you ran out of room. You did not run out of room. Keep on typing. Another thing to remember from the essay prompt is they're telling you exactly what they want you to do. So in this case, they want you to write an analysis that compares and contrasts the relationship between Dr. Frankenstein and his creature and the relationship between Prospero and Caliban. You may want to include in your analysis how Dr. Frankenstein is similar to Prospero as well as how the creature is similar to Caliban. You definitely want to include in your analysis. When the prompt says you may want to do something, the answer is you definitely want to do this. So this is giving you exactly what your thesis should say. Dr. Frankenstein has a relationship with his creature in the same way that Prospero has a relationship to Caliban and the Tempest. That could be a great thesis. Then it says you might want to consider these questions. You definitely want to consider these questions. Make sure you answer these questions exactly the way they're said. So how is Dr. Frankenstein similar to Prospero? Now you know. Dr. Frankenstein is similar to Prospero. So even if you understood nothing about what you read, now you know that these two characters are similar, and the man created by Dr. Frankenstein is similar to Caliban. You know that from these questions. Stick to that in your essay. That's what the reader is looking for. The other part of this, you want to support your essay with specific evidence from both passages. That means you take quotes from these passages and you use them in your essay. But you don't just take a quote, type it, and then leave it. You take a quote, you put it in your essay, and you explain how that quote supports your thesis. That's very, very important. Readers are looking for you to focus, to stay focused, to use evidence, and everything you say in this essay needs to support that these men had relationships with Dr. Frankenstein's creature, Prospero with Caliban. They had relationships with these characters, and they are similar relationships. So Dr. Frankenstein and his creature had a similar relationship to the relationship between Prospero and Caliban and the Tempest. That's what the reader is looking for, and that's what you want to write. So read the prompt carefully and make sure your essay is very focused on what the prompt is asking. Even if you don't agree, it doesn't matter. That's what the reader is looking for, and that's what you're supposed to write on PARCC to get a great score. Okay? So those are some tips on that. Let's look at some scored samples from PARCC. So if you just go back to the screen, where we were to find these samples, a little technical difficulties here. And there we go. Okay. So here, this was the literary analysis task item set. Here I'm going to click on sample student responses, and now I'm going to look at some student responses that were written in response to that essay prompt. So you just scroll down, it gives you the essay prompt again. Here is the first essay. So you can read through this essay, you can see what the student did. I just want to show you that this introduction is exactly what I just said. The relationship between Dr. Frankenstein and his creature and the relationship between Prospero and Caliban are similar in many ways. Both relationships began with kindness and trust, but eventually transformed into hateful relationships. That's the entire introduction, and this essay got full points. So it got 4 on the reading, it got 4 on the written expression, full points. So that is exactly what the readers are looking for. You want to be focused, you want to be clear, you don't have to be fancy. But in this essay, if you read it fully, you'll see that this writer used quotes and supported them as well. So you want to read these sample student responses that you can see. And remember, you have 4 pages worth of space to write, but this writer only wrote 3/4 of a page and still got a 4. You just need to be focused to the point, and you can get the best score. There's lots of student responses here, and you should definitely look at them. The next thing is that you want to make sure to proofread really carefully, because grammar and mechanics is another score for you. Okay. The next thing is that you want to go to the PARCC practice site. It's the same site we used last year in practice, if you remember, but this one is not supported by Chrome. So if you're a Chrome user, you need to use a different browser in order to access the site. So I'm going to use Firefox, and I'm going to parcc.pearson.com. That's where I'm going to go. That's the website, parcc.pearson.com. And then when you get here, you're going to go to test preparation. Sorry about that. You're going to go to test preparation, and then you're going to go to either sample items or practice tests. Totally up to you what you want to do. I'm going to go to practice tests, and I'm going to click on English Language Arts, but you're welcome to practice math as well. They're both here. And there is an answer key. But before you go to the answer key, let's see what you remember. So you can scroll down, select a grade level. I'm going to select grade 10 again, and you can go to either part 1 or part 2, computer-based practice test. You don't have to put your name in, you're just a guest, and you start the section. This practice test is exactly the same one that we used last year. So if you remember from last year, it's the same. But it's good to go in and remember how to use the tools. So here are the tools. The arrows get you through the questions. The review allows you to jump between the questions. So if you want to go to question 9 for some reason, you could do that. If you want to go back to question 2, you can do that. The bookmark allows you to bookmark a question for review. So let's say, I think I know the answer to this question. I'm not really sure. I do want to check it again before I submit my answers. Just click on bookmark, and when you click on review, you'll see there's a little bookmark there, and you want to check it. You can take the bookmark off by just clicking on it. The pointer tool is your default. This is the pointer tool. The notepad, this is a virtual notepad where you can put notes in. Type your notes here. Maybe I have to spell it correctly. And the answer eliminator allows you to use process of elimination to take answers out that you know are wrong. You can take those off by just unclicking. The other tools that you have are changing the background of foreground color. This is not very important, so unless you just absolutely have to change the color, I wouldn't even bother. And you have the magnifier, so if that's helpful to you, you can use the magnifier. You have the line reader mask. If that's helpful to you, you can use the line reader mask and look at just a couple of lines at a time. You do not have to use these tools at all. They are available to you, but you do not need to use them. Answer masking, you can cover them all and reveal them one by one if you want to. You do not need to use these tools. So if you don't like them, if you don't want to use them, you don't have to. You want to scroll through the questions, trying to remember what PARCC looked like. Here is a drag and drop question, so you can use that. This was the way to answer a question. Instead of just doing a multiple choice, you just select your choice and drag it to the box. There are different tools to use here. Here's where you can toggle between the two texts. So in order to answer this essay question, remember here's the tiny text box. As I'm typing, the scroll bar is growing. I have tons of room. Do not stop typing when you hit the end of the box. Keep on typing till you write your complete essay. There's no reason to stop typing. You have plenty of room. It's not going to cut you off. Make sure that you read the prompt very carefully. Make sure you use these bullet points to help you write that essay really well and focused, and give the reader what he or she wants while he's reading. And make sure you use both texts so that you go back and forth between the two. This is the next type of question. This is called the research-based simulation task. This is an informational unit. This will be on day 2 of PARCC. And here are some more drag and drop examples where you would take full paragraphs of text and you would drag and drop them. And here are the 2 texts you were given. And Part A, Part B. Remember, Part A has to be correct in order to get Part B correct. Here's an example of an audio clip. You might get an audio clip or a video clip. Make sure you watch both, and make sure that you watch them as often as, or listen to them as often as you need to in order to understand them really well, because you may have to use them in your essay. Okay? So in this case, this essay is asking you to consider at least 2 of the sources presented, and they give you 3 sources. So you can decide which 2 you want to use, but you have to use both that you decide to use. And then this one is the narrative, and this will be Unit 3 on PARCC. And this you're going to get 1 story, and you're going to answer Part A, Part B. And at the end, instead of writing an essay, you're going to be asked to write a narrative story. That means a story. That's not an essay. That's a story. So you're actually going to be writing a story as though you're the author of that story, not an essay. You're not analyzing anything here. This, as I did this, I showed you another tool. You can use this on PARCC. If you click twice on a word, or if you highlight a word or a phrase, you'll get these highlight tools. So if you want to remember something on PARCC, you can highlight it for yourself. If any word on PARCC is underlined in this sort of broken fashion, if you hover over it, you'll get the little question mark. You click on it, and it'll give you a definition. So in this case, machine, in this text, it means bicycle. So those are some tips for PARCC, just so that you can remember how to use the tools, and you remember what type of questions you're going to see. If you have any questions on PARCC, please ask your English teacher before April 4th. We know you're ready. We know that you're going to do really well. We're looking forward to great scores on PARCC. So good luck, and have a great day.